So it's time for another rant and rave, or if you're doing the politically correct kind of wording, it's coffee chat. And this time I have actually bought my coffee mug. This was a Christmas present from my cats, Tokyo and Pickle, a minion. I think he's Bob, and he's the one, I think he was King Bob, and he loved bananas. Now, today in the title it says CNN and BBC, and what's happening in the world. Firstly, I'm going to talk about Netflix and something that is really good. If you like a good, intelligent drama, then there was one on Netflix called Fool Me Once. I've been watching it up to 1 o'clock last night. It was so good. I've got 3 more episodes to go, and I will do that this evening. So what's happening in the news? So basically here, I've got my delightful iPad, and I'm just going to have it this way. 28-day workout challenge for seniors. No, we don't want that one. Let's have a look. Ukraine, first of all. Now, we would say that what's happening in the Ukraine at the moment is a stalemate. Nothing's been advancing. The Ukraine counteroffensive, you could say, has failed. But the Russian lovers or Russian supporters would say defeated. And the line hasn't really moved between the Donbass region and the main part of Ukraine has stayed the same. And a lot of people in America are tired of putting billions and billions of dollars into Ukraine, and nothing's really happened. And eventually, I hope it's going to be this year in 2024, where there are going to be some negotiations. Another idea that I came across is the Ukraine just sort of like, why don't you just put 1 million landmines across this area? So it'd be really difficult for Russia to come across. And even there was one report, I can't remember where, that the Russians can give themselves up to the Ukraine and they can get immunity, something like that. I'm not too sure. But there's been, unfortunately, tens of thousands of people who have lost their lives over the whole situation, which is a great shame. But the transparency from both parties would be, has never been exact. But from Russia, it's a little bit like China. It's very difficult to believe what they say. And there's lots of Russian propagandists, Western Russian propagandists, who would say Russia is king related to that. And they always say it's the American proxy war, it's the collective West, it's the Western media, which is always wrong. And the Russian media, like Russia Today, is always right. So this is what's happening, you could say, on BBC and CNN. There's also news about Epstein. We can't really go into that. It's just sort of like horrible. It's just an evil guy. Two-faced with that. The elections are coming up in 2024, and of course CNN is going to be anti-Trump once again, and they're going to be pushing Joe Biden if he is going to run for re-election. Hopefully he doesn't, or maybe he'll just fall asleep during the election, and hopefully Trump is going to run again. And I think people have sort of realized, oh, the mistake they did, if they did vote for Biden, it was a big mistake and they should have voted for Trump, regardless of if you're Republican or Democrat or independent. I like Trump in the way that he doesn't need the money. He's a multi-millionaire. And even though he lets some Chinese companies rent space from Trump Tower, it's okay, as long as everything is legal and there's no monkey business going along, that's fine. Now, I know we do have some Democrats here, and that's fine. You would say in England, I would be a Conservative. I did actually vote once in 1987. I voted for Margaret Thatcher. My family, you would say, is actually a Conservative family, and they would always go down that line. They would sort of buy the Times or the Telegraph, and my cat just wants to go outside. Just excuse me for a minute. Do you want to go outside? Come on then. Come on. Go on. Quickly. Okay. Say bye-bye. Mind your tail. Okay. So I think there will be some kind of negotiations related to Russia and Ukraine. And I hope it's the same in the Middle East, that things will die down and there'll be some negotiations, and then for another 6 years it will be quiet again. Then some other conflict will happen. There are some reports that Xi Jinping said that the president or dictator or the general secretary of China actually saying he will invade Taiwan, but he doesn't know when. I think it's going to be a very foolish mistake if he does. And a lot of people would say, related there, watching Russia and Ukraine. Now, if Russia does win, but I don't think there are going to be any winners in the whole kind of like conflict which is happening there, then it gives a green light to China to go and invade the Republic of China, which is the island or the country of Taiwan. They also have on BBC some things related to the elections, which is happening on January the 13th, which is next week. Something like that, pretty close to next week, related to who's going to be the next president of the country of Taiwan. And I'm sure that the Chinese Communist Party of mainland China is going to do some influential things and some election rigging, etc., to make sure it's their party who is pro-mainland China be in there. But that'd be interesting to see. And this will be covered, you could say, on CNN and Al Jazeera and all the other networks. I'm just looking through CNN at the moment, and there. Let's go to BBC. Why not? Yeah, just. So if Apple is watching here, then and if you want to sponsor me or give me a new iPad, please go ahead, and you can find my contact details in the description below. BBC News. What have we got here? Let's hit World. And I do believe there are some floods in the UK at the moment. And some people, I don't know what's going on. They're talking about 6 people are shot in, shot somewhere in the United States. North Korea fires artillery shells towards the border island. It talks about Israel. It talks about Epstein. It talks about the earthquake in Japan, that there's 750 people missing. In North Korea, it's saying that Kim's daughter tipped likely to be his successor, but he's quite a young guy, but he's possibly going to smoke himself to death anyhow. And the cigarettes that he smoked are not Korean cigarettes, they're good old American Marlboro cigarettes. A dog enjoys priceless meal of his life, $4,000 cash. McDonald's hit by Israeli Gaza misinformation. Hamas leader assassination sparks wider war fears. Who is the Hamas leader killed in Beirut, etc.? I didn't know that one, but I'm sure that's quite a hot topic there. I think that what Hamas did when they came into Israel on October the 7th is a horrible thing to do, and I don't really get it. I mentioned this before. They came in to Israel and horrible things happened, and then they sort of left again. Now, didn't they expect a retaliation? And that's exactly what Israel is doing. And they're saying, we are going to wipe out Hamas once and for all. And Hamas used to be a something organization. It begins with ter, war, and an ist at the end there. But then they went into politics. But I think they're still sort of like this, the word I said before, with that. But only time will tell. And the thing is, what can we do? We can only watch and listen. We can protest. How many protests have we seen on the streets of Viva Palestine, and then some, and then Viva Israel, long live? And it's sort of like, again, it needs to go into negotiations once it calms down. Is there anything else related to the news? Talking about the shooting, 6 people shot in school in Iowa on the first day back. India ex-naval man gets varying jail terms in Qatar. What did he do? Not too sure with that one. And again, I'm just repeating it. The second patch of Einstein court documents to be released, so it's going to have a lot of names there, references to Prince Andrew and also ex-US President Bill Clinton. I actually used to like Bill Clinton, and the reason why I liked him, he was really good at giving speeches. Now, you can agree or disagree. I just liked how he was just brilliant. Now, brilliant at giving speeches. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, way back in 2012, I think, around that time, I was actually in the United States of America, and I just finished doing what I had to do. I was back in my hotel room, and I just turned on CNN. It was the first channel that came up, and literally I was taking off my clothes to go and take a shower. Then it was Bill Clinton's endorsement for Barack. And I literally sat down for 45 minutes. I didn't move. And if I was American, because of that speech, I would have voted for Barack Obama. I really would have, because he was so good at giving a speech, and it just made sense. And I don't follow American politics. In fact, I don't follow politics at all. It's very rarely I would actually look at the news. Most of the time, I would be doing research on Twitter, maybe on YouTube, some other articles related to what someone said that I may disagree with, etc., etc. Yeah. And anything else here? Israel outlines its plans for Gaza after war. So once, what we just said, once it all quietens down, hopefully it's going to be this year. And I hope this year is a lot more peaceful than 2023 and 2022. I hope there's no big conflict started by a developing country like Iran or a developed country like America. But if it does, it's always interesting to watch YouTube and see the pro-developing country manifest. Like some people would actually talk about Burma or Myanmar, and it's been under a military dictatorship or military coup ever since, 2013, something like that. And I did watch a video a couple of days ago called by Josh Cahill. Josh Cahill is an airline review expert on YouTube. It's really interesting to watch if you like travel. And he did go to Myanmar, and he got a driver, and he said it's awful because there's no tourists that come to this beautiful city, and they don't want to come because of the military dictatorship. While these Western YouTube shills who are anti-everything West and pro-everything related to dictatorship and authoritarianism, they would say, oh, it's a great country to be in. Really? Yeah. But this guy was speaking to a taxi driver who showed him round for the day and said business is really bad because of no one wants to come because of a military dictatorship. There. I did actually watch Jack Ryan, a TV series on Amazon the other day, which I did mention. And one of the episodes was about Venezuela and how China would actually go into there and they would be in the back door of the United States. Now, what happened in Venezuela is sort of like the typical dictator of a country, where his country goes really poor, but he's still living in the lap of luxury with caviar and champagne and a small group of elite, and they sort of like ignore the people who can't even get a loaf of bread. Some people have asked me about Argentina, and they sort of like pulled out of anything to do with China. And I think that's a good thing, personally. China just cannot be trusted. It can be trusted more if Xi Jinping stepped down and they started to be honest, which I did mention in my last coffee chat. And talking of coffee, I think I'll have a little sip now. Some people will be saying, hold on, where are the biscuits? Well, maybe we can do that for next time. But I do have some chocolate digestives, which are really nice. Biscuits, cookies, basically. And it can be a different thing to have a biscuit in America than it is in the United Kingdom. But it's sort of like just a biscuit that you can dunk in your tea and coffee. I'm digressing with this one. Let's go back to see if there's anything interesting. Again, this is a non-edited video. This is just a rant and a rave. The 14th Amendment plan to disqualify Trump explained. Oh, that's what I saw. On CNN, I do believe, they were saying they are trying to get the ballot ban for Trump or be taken away from the ballot in the 2024 election. This is on CNN. So again, this is Democrat and they just hate the Republicans. And when it was the 2016 election, you could see CNN they kept on saying, we are the world leader. Yeah, but you're only talking about American politics. Come on, there is something else happening in the world. And I think they lost a lot of international viewers. I remember CNN in 1992 and it was the same. There was so many adverts and it was so annoying and it was all about America. Now, no disrespect, it's good to have news about it, but they say, I'm the world leader, but you're not the world leader because you only talk about America. Why don't you talk about England, Israel, Canada, South America? Now, more they do now, but come the election time, it will be like a smear campaign, which it was in 2016 when they didn't do too well, and 2020 when they did it all over again, and Joe Biden did. It was actually quite funny. On the 2016 night of the elections, CNN was all in the situation where they were all prepped for Hillary Clinton to win the election. And there was these two old men, Wolf Blitzer and some other political analysts, looking at the map and pressing lots of buttons, and it just didn't work. They were in a frantic loss because they lost the election. And this is the even stranger thing. On BBC at that time, they were running the elections and they were doing it as a world event, and they were explaining the difference between the voters and the collateral, the college elected votes, and they were explaining it like that. But the results came in faster on BBC than CNN. So it said, okay, so the Republicans have taken Iowa, for example, or California. And then about 2 minutes later, it will be notified on CNN, which was a little bit embarrassing for CNN because the BBC in England were getting the results faster than CNN. That was quite witty. Now, you may hate me for saying this, but I just found it quite amusing. It can be the other way sometimes as well. Yeah. Oh, what else do we have? I don't think there's much else I want to say here, apart from have a nice day, enjoy the coffee. And this is just a rant and a rave example. And I may think of doing this live in the future, but I just need some more subscribers to do so. And you could join in the comments, you could join in the live chat. And again, give it a thumbs up if you got to the end of the video. Congratulations, thank you very much. A rainbow knows that I know you got to the very end. If you want to support the channel financially or support my work, then all the descriptions are in the link below. A thumbs up and do subscribe. Please check your subscriptions. Sometimes it goes down. I checked a couple of days ago and I think it was like 68% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed, and it's all free of charge for that bit. And the notifications, I know lots of people mention this, but it's just like a kindly reminder. If you do like my work, you don't have to pay for it, but the generosity does help my cat food situation. But hit the notification button and hit all. So when a video does come out, it will notify you on your email or on your alert system, whatever it is. It sort of works like that. So again, enjoy the day and hope you enjoyed the coffee. And let's say goodbye. Cheerio. What you're seeing around you now are some recommendations that I created for you. So you can click on those links if you can. Cheerio. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.